Everyone, welcome back to my channel Economic Zone by Diksha Ahuja. So in this video I have come up with part 3 of the unit Determination of Income, Output and Employment of class 12 Macroeconomics. So in today's video I'll cover up saving function and investment function, and we will understand the derivation of saving curve from the consumption curve, right? And we'll know that in what is the further procedure to move in the chapter. Okay, so let's start with saving function. In the previous video, I'll make you understand the consumption function, right? How the consumption function works, and we know the consumption function is A plus BY, in which A was autonomous consumption that exists even at zero level of income, and B was MPC. So now here we need to derive saving function that says saving is a function of income again. That means as the income increases, savings also increases, right? So the relationship between income and saving is being shown by saving function. So let's understand how the saving function is being derived from income and consumption. So we know that y is equals to c plus s, and we know that c is a plus by. So just substitute this consumption function in this equation. So y is equals to a plus by plus s. So take all the other values except s on left hand side. Y minus a minus by is equals to s. So take minus a constant and plus y minus by. Y coefficients one side. So take y common. You'll get 1 minus b. Y is equals to s. So this is our saving function which we have derived, that says something about two values. One, what is minus a, and the other, what is 1 minus b. Because we know s is the saving, right? And y is the income. Y is the income. So what about minus a? Obviously, at zero level of income, when the consumer is consuming some amount, definitely he is not having any income. So he must be dis savings. So minus a denotes that dis savings at zero level of income. That means when the consumer is using autonomous consumptions, at that time the consumer is also dis saving the previous savings at the zero level of income, denoted by minus a. When y is equals to 0, so savings are how much? Minus a. So next, what is 1 minus b? You know b is MPC, and we know the relationship between MPC and MPS, that is equals to 1. The sum is equals to 1. So if b is MPC, so 1 minus b is MPS. So here 1 minus b is MPS, marginal propensity to save, that is delta S, but delta Y, that how much the people are saving out of the change in income, and it is also known as the slope of saving curve. So let's know how the saving curve looks like. So just have a look. Savings are like this, and how they are derived, they are just derived from consumption only, and then this is the next task also, that how in this task we will understand how the saving curve is being derived from consumption curve. Let's first understand the saving curve. So point B is the point where s is equals to 0, right? And to the right hand side of B, what is happening? Just see the graph, this black line. In the beginning it is negative, minus a, right? When the savings are 0. Then as my income increases, my savings decreases. As my income increases, I save more and more. So saving and income are directly related. So once the saving will reach 0, in that case we will say the saving will be 0, and this point is known as break-even point. So what is this B point known as? B is known as break-even point. B is known as break-even point, where C is equals to Y and APC is equals to 1, right? Moving further, when income will rise, I will start at savings, because my income will be more than consumption. So in this case, the shaded portion to the right hand side of B will be savings. So saving curve is upward sloping curve originating from negative x's. So I hope I have made you understand the saving function. Let's know the derivation of the saving curve from the consumption curve. Students, let's derive the saving curve from consumption curve, right? So basically we'll make the consumption curve first, and then we will make the saving curve so that the derivation is possible. As we've written the steps also, so we'll derive at the same time. So first of all, let's make the consumption curve. First, we'll make the 45-degree line, that is income is equals to AS line. This is known as 45-degree line. After that, we'll make the consumption curve that starts from a positive axis, point A, that is autonomous consumption, and there's a direct relationship between income and consumption. So C is equals to A plus BY will be upward sloping curve. So this is what we have already, right? Where this is point B, break-even point, where C is equals to Y and savings are 0, right? C is equals to Y and savings are 0. So basically draw a 45-degree line given OA. We know this is OA. This OA is autonomous consumption. Consumption curve will intersect at B, right? We have this consumption curve which is intersecting at point B, consumption and income curve intersecting at point P. So take minus OA equal to OA. So we need to take a mirror image of this thing. The mirror image of OA will be minus OA, right? So take minus OA equal to OA at 0 level of income when the income is 0, right? Because at this level, this savings and autonomous consumption are equal, right? How much the consumer will consume will depend on how much he is just saving from the previous savings because his income is 0. So next, from point B, we take a perpendicular down. We take a perpendicular down to the x-axis, right? We'll mark this point as B1. Cuts the x-axis on B1. We are naming it B1. Another where savings are 0 at a given level of income. So what the last line join minus OA and B1 and extend it further. So when we will join this and extend it further, we will get what? What will we get? Saving curve. So S is equals to minus A plus 1 minus BY. This is the derivation of saving curve from consumption curve. First we made the consumption curve. Just see the video properly. First we draw the consumption curve and how we derive the saving curve from consumption curve. Similarly, we can derive the consumption curve also from the saving curve. So now let's know about the investment which we are taking in this model. Understand how many types of investment we have in the economy. There are two types of investment. The investment can be autonomous investment and the investment can be induced investment. So let's know which these two types explains. Autonomous investment says that investment that do not depend on the income level. That means if the income level is 0, then also the investment is constant. If the income level is 100, 200, 1000, lakhs, the investment will be the same amount. These kind of investment is done by government only mainly. So it does not depend on the income level. It is autonomous, horizontal line, parallel to x-axis. So the other type of investment we have is induced investment. That depends on the income level and the profitability level. More the profits, more the income, more the investment a firm or economy will take place or will evolve in the economy. So basically there are two types of investment, autonomous investment and induced investment. But you should know that our model of determination of income output employment given by John Maynard Keynes takes the investment as autonomous. We do not consider our investment depends on the level of income or profitability. We assume our investment is autonomous, right? One thing more, you should know the meaning of full employment here, because we are assuming that people who are willing and able to work are doing work. That means full employment means absence of involuntary unemployment. That means those people who are willing and able to work are doing work at the prevailing wage rate. That means there is no person like this which is not doing the work if he is willing and able to do. And if we talk about voluntary unemployment, then voluntary unemployment always exists. People who do not want to work will not work. So voluntary unemployment will exist in the economy, but full employment means there should be no involuntary unemployment. So this is it for today. We will start up the determination of income output employment, the model, equilibrium model of aggregate demand, aggregate supply, because we have understood all the aspects. We have understood aggregate demand, we have understood the component C plus I, we have understood savings also, we have understood AS is equals to Y. So we are having everything now. So we need to study the model that I'll continue in the next video. Till then, bye bye.